Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adesope Live, the official Afrobeats Podcast, where we break down the hottest topics within the culture here in the studio. Of course, I'm always joined by a celebrity guest, as usual. But first of all, big shout out to everybody supporting, subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, watching on whatever platform, from YouTube to Apple to Spotify to Yanga TV. We appreciate all the support and the comments coming our way. We really, really like that. Make sure you keep on sharing, as always. Well, I've got a guest in the studio. She hasn't been here for quite some time. She's traveled all the way to Lagos, Nigeria, enjoyed life for months on end. She's back. Radio broadcaster, PR executive, music market specialist, and digital. Listen, you're everything. How many hats do you wear? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the incredible Gracie May. How many hats do you wear? You
know when you're Igbo, you have to just diversify the streams of income. So, yeah, I'm in IT, I'm in project management, I do data insight, I do data analysis, which helps with the PR, the marketing, and everything else. Entertainment journalism is how I kind of bubble it, because I'm writing, I'm on TV, I'm on podcasts like this.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's a lot of things. Trying to be like you.
You mentioned being Igbo there. I think, like I've said in the past, we missed a trick in Nigeria for about at least over the last 50 years. We have a people in Nigeria, the Igbos, who have been blessed with incredible knowledge of business, entrepreneurial skills that we haven't seen anywhere else in Africa, I believe. And the entire nation have failed to learn from that. And I think that where the country is right now, we're actually suffering from a lack of the knowledge and knowledge to develop things and do things ourselves. And now we're relying on government because we failed to follow in the footsteps of the great Igbo people. Shout out my Igbo people out there.
Igbo Queno.
I'm telling you, man, we lost out big time, man. You know, hopefully we learn from that going forward.
Fingers crossed. I mean, we have to admit that Biafra happened first, but that's a topic not for this podcast. Another day.
It's a big topic that a lot of people actually are starting to talk about. You know, I lost family members, close blood family members in Biafra, like like horrific first blood stories that if I share, people wouldn't even believe, you know. So yeah, people think it's that far away, but Biafra to some of us is a very, very strong, you know, topic. Yeah, like you said, it's one that we definitely need to look at a lot closer. But before we look at the headlines, this week, I'd like to speak about our partnership with Shoobs.com. Shoobs is a leading discovery hub for Black culture experiences, bringing you the latest events, music, and news. With Shoobs, you can discover and buy tickets to the best events happening in your city to satisfy your every need. If you're on a hunt for bottomless brunches, the latest Afrobeats concerts, or just a banging night out, Shoobs has got you covered. Shoobs is at the center of all experiences, whether you're an event organizer looking to sell out your event or looking for the perfect event to attend. Visit Shoobs.com and get Shoobs in now. Now, some of the headlines we're looking at will be Wizkid Superstar album celebrating 10 years and the release of a mini docuseries on YouTube. Casper Nyovest says he doesn't get radio play in South Africa. We'll talk about that, and you probably share some knowledge on how people can look at increasing their radio play. Shatta Wale, as always, going viral in Ghana. I don't think there's anybody else in Ghana that has more media attention than the great Shatta Wale himself. And stories like Ben Affleck and J-Lo confirming getting back together after years spent apart. I think it was close to 20 years that they were separated from. And then they found themselves back in each other's arms. So we'll be looking at that and a lot more. So we start in Nigeria, where this past week saw the social media celebrations of the classic Wizkid album, Superstar, turning 10. The album was released on the 12th of June, 2011. So fans, music lovers, and Afrobeats enthusiasts like myself shared their delight on social media on the impact the album made on the culture and the superstar that Wizkid has gone on to become. Now, the star, who also performed in Abuja over the weekend, released a documentary called A Superstar Made in Lagos on YouTube. celebrating him as an artist and his rise to fame. It features interviews from people such as Banky W, Femi and Yeni Kuti, and Anthony Joshua, to name a few. The documentary was released on the 12th of June, which also coincided with Nigeria's Democracy Day that saw demonstrations across the country on the plight of the nation. So some fans on social media weren't too happy that Wizkid's documentary was released on that day, comparing it to when Ricardo Banks released a song Wizkid featured on during the End SARS movement, where Wizkid slammed Ricardo on social media. And I know you and I spoke about that because you weren't too happy.
I was not.
Exactly. So let's start with the 10-year celebration of the Superstar album. How impactful can you summarize what Superstar album has done to Afrobeats and the entire culture?
Can we first talk Don't Doll, Hakura Mo, No Lele? Like the amount of hits on that body of work alone set him as Starboy.
Facts.
He was Starboy before, but you can play any one of those songs at a wedding, club,
today,
on the beach now, and it shuts down
it's
the
still
dance.
a turner.
What?
Absolutely.
From the production to the lyrics, the virality.
Yep.
We have to thank Wizkid for his greatness.
Absolutely. And to come into the game with a classic album.
Unheard of.
That was ridiculous. I know there was an interview with me on Factory 78 with Wizkid 3 months after the album was released, and I said, this is a classic. Even I didn't realize what I was saying then until I watched the interview 10 years later now. That album instantly became a classic. And the funny thing is, every single song you mentioned there, when we play those songs today, we act like it just came out 2 months ago.
Fresh. What?
So shout outs to the producers, Sam Clef, Sheezy, Mastercraft, the entire crew that put their hands to work on that incredible body of work. It set Wizkid on a path that has now seen him become what he's become.
Yeah.
Like a really, really iconic musician from Africa. I know people would argue everybody has their favorites, but I believe that the Superstar album and Made in Lagos albums are both classic albums.
Agreed.
And will go down in history as two projects that Wizkid used to change sounds. I think sounds from the other side, he tried to do it, but I believe Made in Lagos was what he was actually, where he was going was Made in Lagos.
Yeah.
Because if you know what he did with Drake, with Come Closer and stuff, you can tell he had started to experiment with different sounds.
Right.
But Made in Lagos seemed like an album where he had relaxed and found himself, was comfortable changing his sound.
Yes.
And his fans were, again, fans weren't happy when Made in Lagos was
Came
released.
out. Yeah, agreed.
In Lagos, in Nigeria. People
They say it sounds like
this?
Made in Jamaica, Made in Kingston, Made in London. I will say, Sounds from the Other Side or Sounds of the Other Side, I felt like some of the A&R on that project seemed contrived, seemed quite forced. Made in Lagos, even like the Ella Mays and all of that, the tracks that you didn't think would work, banged. It felt organic, even if it wasn't. And I think the EP before and the project before...
Soundman EP.
Yeah.
That's it. That was the... Soundman EP for me was that bridge into Made in Lagos.
Yeah, we could see, okay, where are we going? And then Made in Lagos solidified it. I think if I go back to Superstar just for a sec, I feel like Wizkid has done something that a lot of artists haven't been able to do. I think Fireboy, if I'm talking about my living memory...
coming out of the gate with the classic album.
Straight.
Yeah,
LTG, like no one...
Yep.
No one quibbles how classic that album is.
Facts.
Not many people are able to do that. With your first body of work,
Yep.
and we know that the first one kind of sets you where you are in terms of your position in the industry and your sound.
Yep.
And then the second one is, are you as good as the first?
Facts.
Like, proves your sustainability in the business.
Yep.
I feel like, Wiz just set the standard. And at that time, Banky W was reigning, as well as,
The team was,
P Squared,
was
Star
really-
Plus, everyone.
Yeah. What did you think about the documentary that was on YouTube?
Okay, before the controversy, I love the documentary. I'm a fan of finding out more about Wiz, because he's a bit like...
we didn't find anything about it, man. As far as I'm concerned, I thought that...
Bear in mind, though, you've been around since the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
So maybe you already knew it because you have that proximity to him. I think...
For the new fans?
Yes. So someone like Saweetie said that Made in Lagos is her favorite album almost of all time. Almost. Yeah. So for someone like her who was just finding her way into Afrobeats, just finding out about Wiz, maybe she wasn't even around for the YouTube live situation that happened a couple months ago. I think it gave another side to him because historically he's been quite private. His stories are just, random shots of the ceiling with the eagle. We don't find out a lot about Wizkid's personality through his socials. So I think we were able to find out a bit of a
maybe because what I was expected was because it was a superstar album.
Yeah.
Now, because of the success and the impact of that album, not only to Wizkid but to us, the fans,
and the genre.
And the genre, I'm thinking to myself, an Illmatic with Nas. I'm thinking of those type of projects where now we're celebrating 10 years. Take us back in time, how this album came together. Yeah. Speak to those incredible producers that worked on that project. Speak to those incredible A&Rs, the Banky W's, and everybody that worked around it. Let's take us to Ojuelegba Shita. Let's see where let's see that and put that together. Give it to Netflix or somebody, So when I'm seeing people like Anthony Joshua in such a position saying, I don't even know Wizkid, he became... that for me was a heartbreak. Like, Anthony is a great guy. I'm a huge fan of him and the fact that he loves Wizkid and everything. I love that. But him on that project talking about
maybe not the right
superstar.
Fit. Yeah.
No, I wanted to let's hear about the superstar project.
Can I say, though, that this is just a rumor on the rumor mill, but I thought there was a Netflix situation coming out with Wiz. So maybe they're saving the good bits for the feature project. Maybe this was just let's see how the project impacted current celebrities. Because you're right, the picking of the feet.
Because I'm like, no. I want to see someone. If you go and watch the Illmatic documentary on YouTube, on Netflix, Nas took us back to his old neighborhood. Yeah. And you would see those guys, you meet everybody, like, they're talking about, your Salam Remy is talking about, DJ Premier doing this beat, and DJ Premier is telling you about.
Okay, but honest question, though. Does Wiz do promo the way promo should be done?
Nobody does.
Okay, so example being like the Made in Lagos OAP boxes, so those are the gift boxes that he sent to fellow stars and stuff, have come out 6 months after the project with the same branding as No Stress, but not the same branding as the Made in Lagos album. Even when it comes to like backstage footage, we don't get that. Was he going to leave Ghana or London or wherever he was to really go back to Ojuelegba?
You can.
To Surulere?
You don't have to do too much. Let me tell you.
The studio where he recorded was he going to do that?
Listen, let me give you, that's where the team comes into play. We will do it from his bedroom in Ghana. You know how? We'll take a camera to Ojuelegba to film those things. When we're done with everything, we'll go and interview him in his No Stress lounge, just telling us about those things. And then we edit the clips into it. Because this thing is, in 20 years' time, we're going to celebrate the superstar.
Of course. Those tracks are not dying anytime soon.
Yes. You will remember to celebrate because this was an iconic, and I just feel like you said, maybe there's something else coming. I felt like that was an opportunity to also open something, even though they don't do promo the regular, the traditional way.
He blows without it. He doesn't need it.
Because that's why when you do something else, it also gives you more power. Because he already has the Wizkid FC that will work for him. Imagine now giving them something like that to run with. Yeah. They weren't happy with what they saw, hence why it was easy for anybody to even attack Wizkid. Let's talk about people that were attacking him. I personally, when you're thinking about business, you and I know that a project like that, the YouTube and stuff, would have been put in motion 1 month ago. So it coming out on June 12th is not something that someone woke up yesterday morning and decided to put on play. So that let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
However, people were saying keep the same energy.
So I feel like one of the things about having a great team is having people that are culturally sensitive and culturally relevant. If
I know what's going on.
A Jamaican person, an English person, a Chinese person, I'm sure they bring different skill sets because they will. Like multiple of minds means multiple ideas. Yeah. But he has people in his team. Mr. Sunday is a Yoruba guy. Democracy Day is the
That's
same
on
day
ground.
every year.
Yeah.
And we know how tense the country has been. We know how
From
tense
the NSAS movement.
Right. It was natural that we were going to use something as oxymoronic, if we can call it that, as Democracy Day to petition. I mean, when I was in Lagos a couple of weeks ago, for the first time ever, the Naira went up to 705
That's crazy.
to the pound.
That's mad.
Bearing in mind, when I had first got to Lagos about 3 months before, it was on like 650, 680.
Yeah.
This never happens. The fact that the currency is
Continues
reliant
to fall.
on the dollar. The fact that they removed the oil subsidy. There's so many things that the kidnappings, that more kids, more people are being executed. There's so much. People were looking for an opportunity, a valid opportunity to speak, and this was always going to be it.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it again. Mark my words. On 1st of October. Okay. Independence Day comes once a year, every year, same day. It's gonna happen. So any artist,
stay away from those days unless you're planning something that matches with that with that sentiment. For example, last year, Yemi Alade released a video, her live performance for Criminal in Agbada on the 1st of October, speaking directly to people in government that were ripping the people off. If you're going to do something like that, then you can't play with that. But if it's something that's just going to directly just impact your own pocket and seems like you're not being sensitive, people are a little bit, they're a lot more.
I think as well, even with that, as a PR specialist yourself, A&R and everything else that you do, people might even say, oh, you are optimizing or you're leveraging or you're clickbaiting that situation. There's always a risk when it comes to anything politically aligned.
Absolutely.
Always.
I'll give you an example. This past weekend, I was invited to a movie premiere at the O2. And the movie was about the Nigerian Maradona himself, General Ibrahim Babangida.
Oh, yeah, I was invited to that. Forgot to go.
First things first, when they invited me to I asked what kind of movie is it? Is it someone's view of this guy, or is it in partnership of Babangida himself? They told me it was loosely based, and I wasn't too sure. So I said, let me go and check it out. So I never shared anything on my social media, and I went there. And about halfway through the movie, I got angry and I walked out. Because it was, in my opinion, a celebration of one of the most
tyranny, evil
that I experienced it. It's because of Babangida we have June 12th Day today.
Yeah. Because
he annulled the free and fair election, locked up the man that was voted for by the people, and ultimately led to the man dying in prison, in cap. So when I went to see the movie, and I thought to myself, like, I understand why some people refused to work with this and be part of this because of that sensitivity. And I felt enraged. I walked out of the showing. And I think we all have to now, regardless of our business interests, our pockets, our stomachs, have to think about our people. Always. Because integrity comes first now.
I mean, every business does it, right? Every business has an arm where they're looking about social impact. They talk about recycling. They're looking at diversity. Every artist is a brand, and they're a business too. And if the big guys like Apple, like Sony, like Coke who just got
did you see what
billions
Ronaldo
wipes off their
you see what
value
Pogba's done as well?
Yeah, with the
Heineken.
Yeah. Each artist is a brand. Each artist is a business, and you have to be sensitive, because at the end of the day, your end consumer, your end listener is still a person, still living in this world, still experiencing the hardships. And I mean, did he deserve to be dragged based on his comments with Ricardo? Even without the Ricardo comments, I think people will have still spoken.
Said something.
And actually, with that track never actually came out.
Ricardo, they pulled it off.
And
they had shot a video for it and everything. They just completely
And I'm a big fan of Ricardo too. I just, so, timing is everything. It's biblical. It matters. And unfortunately for Wiz, I think the reason why people knew that there weren't necessarily excuses is because, like we said, he has Nigerians in his team. They would have known. Is it still a great celebration of his work? Debatable.
I think someone said that the hype the hype for that June 12th, that June 12th, the Democracy Day kind of like swallowed the Superstar celebration, and it didn't let it go as far as it possibly would have if there wasn't Democracy Day, because like the album, you know, like we said, it's a classic album.
I guess if we compare it just to one other person before we move on to the next headline, David O at 10, that hashtag was trending everywhere.
For days.
Everywhere. Everyone was posting their picture with
Everybody
him.
was celebrating him.
And
for days.
For days. And that wasn't even the anniversary of Dami Duro. It was his first
it
song.
was just just him on stage.
But even they did like a whole like mini doc with it. I think they just released it on Instagram. I don't think I saw it on YouTube. Yeah. But even then, people were happy for him.
Yes.
I think with this, it has slightly soured. Slightly.
It kind of stopped the celebration in its tracks.
Mad.
That's crazy. Anyway, we're staying in Nigeria as actress and producer Annie Amatosero, I hope I pronounced that well, slammed anyone over the age of 30 still asking their parents for money. The actress shared on her Instagram page her thoughts on the topic by saying, at 30 and above, it is a shame if you ask your parents for money, end quote. Well, her post got mixed reactions, and sometimes the topic is massive for discussion. Well, I'm going to put that question to you. Anybody above 30 asking their parents for money and says it is a shame, what do you think?
So, full disclosure.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 30 in October. I'm
still
in my mother's house, eating my mother's food. And I'm not ashamed. I'll tell you 3 things for free. So separately, I have actually been working since I was 14. Yeah. So let's put that out there.
That's amazing.
Grew up in a single parent household. We needed to make ends meet. I wanted fancy things that other people had. So I started working. Needs must, right? But even then, I feel no shame until date. From about, I think, uni, my mum set up a direct debit of £30 a month, which doesn't go very far. Yeah, but it's a token. And she hasn't stopped it. So and I've reminded her, and she's like, yeah, I mean, you contribute to the house, you do this, you do that. So I will happily take my mother and father's money. So I just, please, I'm a baby girl for life, first of all. But second of all, it's expensive out in these streets.
You know the funny thing? I when I saw that comment, I thought to myself, like, it's easy for anybody to say, when you're a parent, you're a parent for life.
That's it. And I'm a baby girl
You're
for life.
a parent for life. I was actually, my daughter is about to be 15. And I was thinking to myself, like, yo, you know, I'm planning, like, you know, by the time she goes to university, you know, I want to be able to make some money. So when she comes out, I want to buy her a flat. And I'm thinking about the goals that she probably will be having for herself. I'm already thinking about, you know, so she comes out of uni, she has her own flat. She doesn't have to worry about that. As a parent, you do that for life, man. You know, yes, if your kids are lucky enough and blessed enough to be flying out of the nest without needing your support, then,
You've done well.
Yeah, well done. However, your job as a parent is not until they're 30. Not until they're 35.
At all.
Not until, as long as you're alive, you're a parent. When I go to my mom's house, I call before I go. Yeah. First of all, there's got to be food ready. Second of all, you have to make the cake too.
Right.
Yeah, everything. Bro, listen, I'm going for everything. I'm raiding the fridge. I'm taking stuff to my house.
That's it.
Like, that is it. If I'm broke, I'm going to call her to transfer some money over. Like, straight. And with no shame too.
At all. And look, it's not unique to us. At all. When you apply for a mortgage, right, they ask you how much of it is your money, how much of it is gifted. Yeah. It's standard. Yeah. People gift their
bank of mom and dad.
That's it. And I have English friends where they've been able to buy properties before this age, and their parents have put on the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Deposit and furnished.
Facts.
So I will not be pressured by your Nigerian.
So that's what I wanted to say. What comments like this, especially coming from popular people with social media, what does this do to the young people? Millions, by the way, in Nigeria who have found it hard to get a job after education and have found it incredibly difficult to support themselves. What does this type of statement do to them?
Pressure. We already have the pressure of husband, kids. What this is undue. If the average salary in Nigeria, correct me if I'm wrong, is about 40K a month.
It's probably less than that. I can guarantee you that.
You need as much support as you can get. When somebody's in hospital, when somebody gets married, when somebody dies, we all pull money together.
Facts.
Anyway.
Facts.
We come from a a culture that puts community first.
Yep.
A village raises a child.
Yep.
Why does it suddenly stop at 30? Bearing in mind, most youth services in church in Nigeria, anyway, youth stops at 40. So... Baby girl for life.
The head of the youth, Nigerian youth, is in his 40s.
Okay.
Close to 50.
Okay. So, sis, what are you saying? I can't come and die.
Because when I saw that, I just thought to myself, like, again, it speaks to the use of social media.
And privilege. You can say it because you're privileged.
Because you're earning.
Because you have. Look, I will continue to live on mum's bank account until she cuts me off, and she never will. So
Facts.
That's it.
Listen, okay, so some people are talking about, if you're 30 or whatever, you finish. I know people that have done their BSs.
Yeah.
They've gone back to do masters.
Masters, PhD.
And they're
PhD's
still
5 years.
at home. Can't find a job in Nigeria. So just because I'm 30, I don't have a job, but because I've hit 30, now I can't collect money from. If your parents are blessed enough to give you stuff.
That's it. Is success age-based? That's the question. When we think about Oprah Winfrey and all these other people that made it in their late 30s, early 40s, 50s.
Facts.
What were they doing at 30? They were probably still in their parents' house too.
They were struggling.
Jeff Bezos, when they always say, he started Amazon when 50K came from his parents. How many of us have parents that can give us $50,000?
Donald Trump, his first $1 million came from his dad.
I won't be ashamed into thinking that I have to reach anybody else's version of success by a certain age. I'm running my own race. Everybody is too. We shall soon get there. Last.
Yeah, that's the best way to check it out. Now over to Kenya, where actress and socialist Bridget Ocheng announced via social media that she wants to sell her young son's IG account, which has around 35,000 followers. She said the decision was made because she didn't want him to deal with bullies, as she has all her life. And with the reports of her nudes and videos being leaked allegedly by someone reported to be a Nigerian pimp. The story goes that allegedly Bridget got with someone introduced by a Nigerian pimp, and allegedly the guy refused to pay for services rendered, complaining about Bridget's body or something like that, which ultimately led to her allegedly assaulting the so-called customer. Well, after the incident, her nudes and videos were leaked on a popular porn site in Kenya, making her put up her son's IG account for sale, saying that he was going to be open to internet bullies, and she didn't want that for a young man. She would rather wait till he was old enough to decide if social media was his thing, and she wouldn't want him being a subject of abuse based on her actions. IG for sale due to allegedly mother's mishap. Your thoughts?
I have a counter question. Do your kids run their own Instagram profiles? Do they have Instagram
My
profiles?
daughter does.
But she's 15.
Yes.
So she can.
But anybody younger than that, they don't even have one.
I thought the threshold for Instagram was like 16 anyway. When it's 13.
Yeah, they should. Snapchat and code, they should. I think it's probably from 13 up.
Okay. I don't understand the concept.
They can't be running.
Because, so this is not unique, right? Tife Balogun, a.k.a. Wizkid's first son. The mum runs the account. She says, for all of you guys that are DMing,
come on, man.
Offering sexual favors, the boy is 10. He's 10.
He posted a video today of his dad had given him like thousands of dollars. Yeah. And he posted himself with thousands. So his DM's about to get crazy.
Pop it. But so there's two questions. One, do these kids actually run their own profiles? Because I don't believe they should.
They shouldn't.
But two, what's wrong with everyone? As in, what's actually wrong? As in, what did do you? Like, why would the first thought be, okay, let me slam the son for the mother's action? The heck? I mean, okay, so recently as well, we had it with Cuppy and her brother. Obviously, she said happy birthday to him, and we know that her brother suffers from autism or lives with autism. Let me say it like that. Apologies. And we had a girl come out saying, oh, she's really in love with Feuds. She wants to marry Feuds. She doesn't know Feuds, but she wants to marry him.
Are you for real?
And Cuppy was like, I get comments like this all the time. Even with her dog account, she's got two Pomeranians now. Yeah. She was saying that in her DMs, people are offering services and I'm just like,
are you for real?
No shame.
Is it because of money?
No shame.
I think it's because of
poverty. It's proximity to poverty. You will do anything. you would do anything. But I think when it comes to kids, I don't have kids. I have godkids, and I don't mess with my godkids. So talk less of my sell it to the lowest bidder.
Yeah, just get it out. Yeah, they can't be dealing with that the abuse on
and
social
you yourself,
media.
You're dealing with being slut shamed. You're dealing with your nudes being out there, and now you're having to think, let me put my son's feelings, thoughts, psyche first.
That's
mother's love.
That's a lot to deal with.
Love.
That's a lot to do with. I saw something before we came on air that probably just shook me to my core. So this Instagram page, Ubi Franklin posted a video of a young kid who is being sexually molested in Nigeria because his mother collects 1,500 naira from a man to come and sexually molest her son. Jesus. I've never seen anything as horrific as that before in my life. And I just thought to myself that, the state of mind of that, like, what, 1,500 naira.
It's £3. It's £3.
God damn it.
It's £3.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, yo. So the security guard that found them in the terrible situation spoke to the kid on camera. This is a baby. Like, I'm just saying, what is going on? It is like, and another thing that just breaks my heart is, yes, social media is revealing all of these atrocities being committed back home, but it's just become the platform to share it. So these things have been happening.
Yeah, they've been happening. It's only coming to light now. I can't. My heart breaks for that child. Their innocence has been taken away. Aside from that, they're now going to have issues with their own sexuality, their sexual life forever. I can't. And again, I realize that I'm also speaking from a point of privilege, so I'm not judging. But if you want to sell your body as a woman, you have your autonomy as an adult, and you've made that decision for yourself.
Yep.
You do not have the right to decide for your child. You don't. You do not. You can't. That's upset me. That has upset me.
That upset me. I couldn't, it broke completely threw me off, and I just thought to myself, like, what is going? I know you mentioned whilst you were in Nigeria, you also had, interactions with police officers and stuff like that. But I'm thinking to myself, even maids that help people at home, a lot of them one of my friends told me about their chef that they went out, they came back home, the chef had run off and taken stuff and just run off. And I'm thinking, the problem has gone so deep that where do we start to clean people's minds?
I think even
where.
So obviously through our jobs, we get to find out people's stories.
Yes.
That's our job, is to find stories and tell stories. And there are two artists that I'm thinking of that I won't necessarily repeat just in case.
Yeah.
But they have outright said that their first sexual experiences were with house help.
Yeah.
Underage. Against their will. Two men. So it's not just a female issue. And the fact that they have been even brave enough to speak about this on camera and stuff, I'm like, I hail you, because this is happening. With cousins, with uncles, with malams, it's disgusting. 3 months ago, when the mum was on Facebook talking about how her son was in boarding school, David, how he lost 2 stone in a month, how he couldn't hold his stool because he had been sexually assaulted so many times, how he went to school having full control of his body function and is now a bedwetter.
And she was being attacked.
Yes.
She was being attacked.
By the church that ran the school, which we won't name here. By the parents of the alleged, I have to say alleged perpetrators of the acts. By people that were even like, don't you know how to keep things in the back? Like, now you've shamed your son, you've dragged his name through social media. Now everybody, when they think of him, they'll think of this.
Every time.
Is the act itself not more problematic than ruining his reputation? He can't hold store because he had been... I can't even.
It's terrible.
When it comes to kids,
it is. So a lot of people just... and I think celebrities also, especially, ladies like this, that they put themselves in, kind of ridiculous situations, you gotta think about your kid already, So you even having nudes and videos and stuff like that existing out there when you got
And again,
kids.
I mean, I might be on the other side as a feminist. I'm gonna say do what you want.
Yeah, you could do it.
You have autonomy. However, just know that with every action, there's a reaction.
Facts.
With every action, there's a reaction.
For me, I'm always saying to people, you can do whatever you want, man. Like, especially when people are saying, slut shaming because you've got X amount of girlfriends or you had X amount of boyfriends.
Body count.
How many guys? Okay, but the thing is, how many guys can say, hey, they haven't had a lot of girlfriends? How many?
Even in the same Nigeria time.
Exactly.
I was with artists that were running through 4 girls a day.
Yes.
I'm like, are you not tired?
No.
And they're not.
No.
And it was back to back.
Yeah, it's their lifestyle.
So.
But everybody thinks it's okay for the guys. I don't know how we got a pass on that, man, but we got a pass.
Patriarchy.
Yeah.
Okay, come
yeah. Which needs to be dealt with. We will absolutely. Now, over to Ghana, where the king of the news, Shatta Wale, is back in the headlines for slamming a broadcaster and, on something to do with his boxers too. Well, Shatta Wale apparently took to live TV to slam broadcaster Arnold Asamoah Baidu, saying he was a cheap blogger who was broke and had nothing. Shatta Wale challenged the personality to display images of his house to show if he had money, and that the trainers he wears to his programs was worth 250 cedis. That's 2.50 Ghana cedis. While Shatta Wale was trending for his comments on Arnold, he started trending for another reason, as an image of him exchanging pleasantries showing his boxers made the rounds. So Twitter users highlighted the images, saying Shatta Wale was wearing tattered boxer shorts and wasn't worthy of calling another man brave. When I saw the images myself, I said, Twitter trolls, they are
trolling.
It was almost like they caught him, and because the image wasn't clear, so that boxer, you can't tell. Twitter is terrible.
Undefeated. I love it. 233 Twitter, 234 Twitter, undefeated.
But talk to me about Shatta.
Shatta.
One of the reasons why I wanted to discuss this is Shatta has had a reputation of slamming broadcasters.
Not just them, everybody. He's outspoken.
But he's very outspoken and has really, he's fired his shots, particularly at the media in Ghana.
Yeah.
Saying they have been unsupportive. They only like gossip and criticism. They haven't tried to elevate the Ghanaian music industry and entertainment industry to the next level. Mm-hmm. So whenever anybody says anything wrong about his music, his brand, his art, he comes all guns blazing. And that's what kicked this off as well. As a broadcaster, I know you found yourself in situations where, artists or entertainers have done not so interesting things that you'd have to analyze on maybe radio or podcast or TV. And sometimes you find that difficult to do. What are your thoughts as a broadcaster, especially in Ghana, where they're constantly coming under attack by arguably one of the top 3 artists in the country, putting, the industry down, putting their work down? How does this affect their morale, and how does it affect their work?
I think the starting point here is Shatta speaks about everything. Burna was in Accra. Shatta went on IG live and blasted Burna. You're in my town, you didn't tell me, you haven't met me. So let's start there. Shatta will speak on anything and anyone. So, wahala day. We'll leave that. As for how it affects us as broadcasters, I feel like, again, our job is to find stories and to tell stories. I think when you phrase it under story, though, it's not fact. It's not truth. It's a story. Yes. So if it's not true, come out and say it's not true. We always give, and we should, as journalists, always give parties the right to respond.
Absolutely.
So whenever you read an article, you'll see, we reached out to so-and-so.
And they didn't say so.
So that's the basis. I think coming out and questioning someone's value is one thing. Questioning how much they make is another thing. But to be honest, we've been called worse. In the limelight, you know that you're a target. So for the fact that you're saying that his trainers are cheap, that we should see. Shut up, we don't have your money. You've released like 30 albums.
Yeah, you're making money. Because I was thinking to myself, like, if you look at platforms like The Breakfast Club, that is highly respected and stuff, they still have the rumor report.
Yeah.
Where
Donkey of the Day.
Where Angela Yee talks about the latest news, the Donkey of the Day by Charlemagne the God, where he slams and criticizes some of his favorites. Even himself, he got the Donkey of the Day 2 weeks ago for comments he made about Kwame Brown, the former NBA superstar, that he had to apologize for publicly. So these are platforms that they've got a job to do. Their job is to report on the news, tell the industry or you know, say what's going on in the industry, sometimes have their own opinions on what's happened. And people should somewhat respect that. Yeah, I'm not saying you should love, adore, celebrate them, but at least, you know, give them the opportunity to do their jobs. And I've always said that the commentary and the entertainment part is actually what elevates the industry to the next level.
It's
makes
symbiotic.
it interesting. Yes.
We need the content. You are the content. You need the coverage. We provide the coverage. We should work hand in hand. Let's not forget, if we only ever gave factual news, things that were very like whitewashed, it doesn't come across organic, it doesn't come across authentic, and you lose followers.
Absolutely.
They will go to the Shade Barra, the Shade Room, just blog this, Insta blog that. The world and news is so fast these days that to paint the full story of what's happening in entertainment, you have to paint the full story of what's happening in entertainment. And people will log off if they feel like you're a step behind. Like I said, you're too whitewashed or you're not honest.
People want honest opinions.
They do. And it's not as if we're gossiping, but even if we are, the PR saying is there's no such thing as bad publicity. We know that 2/3 females fell out last week.
Yeah.
One of the females has used it to make sure that we know that her new single is out.
It's out.
It's out.
Another one.
Every story.
Another one has said, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Somebody else is now using hashtag Water and Gary EP coming soon. Everybody is leveraging the situation. Be smart with it. That's just it. Be smart. If you're not happy with the comments made, respond and then use the added traction, the added eyeballs on you to make it work for you.
Facts.
That's it. That's it. Point blank period.
Point blank period. Now, staying in Ghana, as the chairman of the Stingy Men's Association in King Sark, a.k.a. Sarkodie, shared a video advising men on how to escape being extorted by slave queens who see him as a cash machine. In the freestyle, the rapper is seen speaking to his friend about instances where he has been asked for money in the past, with stories of taking care of siblings whilst the lady's parents were in the hospital, to which he responded with, he would love to help, but he has goods at the port at the moment that needs urgent cash. And now is not the time to assist. He's in that game for the Stingy Men Association.
Bars. As a lyricist, we knew his response was always going to be sick. Mad dude.
This conversation has come up a million times where, you know, guys are like, yo, listen, no, you have to be stingy nowadays. We can't just be splurging anyhow. You know, even though people have taken this as a joke and have run with it, is there a subtle message that the young guys in Nigeria and Ghana are trying to put out there? It's say, listen, no more freebies.
I mean, who doesn't want someone to finance their lifestyle? If anybody wants to I mean, you can never have too much money. So, I think, all jokes aside though, everyone's looking for a quick buck. And if you don't maintain your boundaries and you show that you have the capacity to, if people push the boundaries, it's down to you. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you tolerate.
What you ask for.
So if somebody has taken 5K today, 10K tomorrow, they're going to ask for 15K the next day. That's just human nature. We're takers, unfortunately. It's down to you to maintain your boundaries and say, okay, enough is enough. As someone that is not a slave queen, who spends her own money, apart from my mum's, I've never really, I can hand on heart say I've never actually willingly ask somebody that I'm not with for money. So I don't really know how that conversation goes.
Yeah.
I'm also very proud. So I don't want anyone to come in like 5 years and be like, I'm the one that put you on. It's me. You're using my money. It's not, I can't do it.
Now, let me ask you a question. So I saw something online today where there was this young lady that was being asked. Someone was trying to slut shame her for dating a couple guys during the same time. And she fired back saying, I was single, I wasn't married, and for me to find the right one, I had to date a couple of people. Yes. That's what they call dating. What do you say to that statement where people try to almost attack women for having multiple dates and situations going on when they haven't really locked one down? Is it wrong?
We saw it with Lori Harvey, right? Steve Harvey's daughter, where she was allegedly linked to a string of high P. Diddy and his son.
Damn.
Before she settled with Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. And I'm a fan of multi-dating. I think, okay, let's hands on heart. I grew up in the church. We were always told sex is wrong, dating is wrong. After uni, straight to marriage. And I think it meant that a lot of us were conditioned to think that only men can go out and have the fun. Only men can go out and date as many people as they want before they find the one. In fact, it's actively encouraged that guys go and sow their wild oats, do what they need to do. So it's out there system. I have a system too, sir. Is it not me and you? I have a system too. So after being with someone for like 5+ years, I was like, I'm not gonna be out for these streets because I'm still a child of God, but I'm gonna have fun. And so my response to that comment is have fun, because you're right. When you do settle down, hopefully, God willing, it's for life. Yeah. So get it out the system. Do what you gotta do. And if that involves, financial favors from the person you're dating, accept them willingly.
It's part of the business.
In fact, encourage it. And those that fall for the trap, well, sir, it sounds like your personal problem.
The game goes.
The game is the game.
Now, over to South Africa, where news of comedian and TV host Trevor Noah's newly announced world tour didn't go down well in his home country. Now, the comedian took to Instagram to announce his new stand-up tour, Back to Abnormal, I believe it is, after the pandemic put his and everyone's life on hold. The comedian announced the world tour dates between September and December, taking him to countries in North America and Europe mainly. Well, fans in South Africa responded to that announcement with quotes, I can't see any SA dates on this website. Or, Trevor, what about SA? You have been switching on us lately. Or, a world tour without Africa or Asia dates isn't actually a world tour. At press time, the dates haven't changed on his website with any additional cities to the, so the blowback on Twitter from SA fans continues. A South African son who has made it great internationally, become a global superstar, a host of a hugely popular television show, even elevated his career in the pandemic by, the hosting the show from his bedroom, basically. Announcing a world tour, but no home dates on that tour. What says you?
It's tricky, right? If you're doing an international tour, part of the purpose of a tour is to connect with new fans. Audiences. So if he's trying to break into new markets that haven't seen him, this is what I would recommend if he was my client. I'd be like, go to these new people that have found you in the last year.
Yep.
Solidify that relationship. Give them that proximity.
Because he blew up online.
He blew Even like one of the biggest videos that I saw from the last, let's say, 6 months was his explanation of what's happening in Israel and Palestine. Yep. So it's tricky because I understand the definition of world being all 7 continents.
Yep.
Well, maybe not 7 because of Antarctica, so 6 continents. But I understand why if I was a South African, I would feel slighted.
Because that's our son. Right. He's gone international to do great things.
And the finale
we want him to come home. One of his other popular videos was when he broke down, I think it was on his special on Netflix, where he broke down interracial, his experiences being, a mixed race child. Growing up in South Africa, exactly. Right. So South Africans were really like, yo, you gotta come home. And he was trending on Twitter heavily. It comes back to what you said earlier on, in your team. How many homegrown people are in your team that would understand that it doesn't necessarily have to be a big show, but maybe you could just go and do like a 2,000 capacity dome show, even a charitable kind of situation, to a homecoming. We want that homecoming.
Right. Kick off, end there, do something. Let's tell the full story. I think the conflict, I guess, or no, let's not even call it conflict. Let's look at Beyonce when she dropped the album and they said, that she was going to do a tour.
Yeah.
And then they were like, but there's no Africa on the tour.
Yeah.
Sometimes logistics do play a part.
Yep.
Financially, is it viable? Are the roads okay? Would it ever have been enough if you had just done a show in Joburg and not Cape Town, or Cape Town or not Durban?
You're always gonna,
is the money there? But with a business hat on, if I'm the one, I guess as an American, maybe planning the tour, and I look at what the average ticket price would be in the US versus SA, sometimes finances, not even sometimes, all the time, finances influence these decisions.
But is that not where sometimes you as an artist or creative now say, do you know what? That loss of South Africa, I think I'm going to take that on myself.
Yeah.
Let me find a brand that can partner with me, or maybe this is he gets multi-million dollars every single year for being the host of The Daily Show.
He could fly himself up.
Go to South Africa, get yourself a 1,000, 2,000 capacity venue, invite people, local kids or whatever, do something, because you know for a fact, especially after the last 12 months that he's had on social media and Netflix, the one place that they would want to see him in flesh will be back home. So when the dates were released, I'll be surprised if it wasn't if he was surprised at the reaction that he got.
I think the other half of it is you also say I'm African in almost everything. You brand yourself as the South African who's making it in the US. I understood the tone of how dare you. That you can use us for profit, but then you don't actually want to engage with us. I get it. It's tricky, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But there's still time to add more dates.
In fact, surprise, bonus dates.
Add more dates, do something. It's very important.
Sorry, just before we move on, the third half of that, because that's the second half already, is some people think though that his new content is very Western facing, and so maybe they knew that his content wouldn't necessarily
sit down well at home. Wow.
And let's be honest, for anyone that's ever worked with any type of artist or comedian or anything or any talent, it's the same show that they do in all the stops.
Absolutely.
And they learn the routine, especially if it's a comedian who has an hour set and it's stand-up. He will learn that one routine. He might flex it, he might add a few ad-libs, but by and large, it's going to be the same set.
Thing.
He might have thought it might have been too much pressure to try and engage back with that African content since he hasn't done it in so long. That's my final point.
Because the jokes in Africa is definitely going to be different.
They won't fly. You guys were just talking about the controversy with Coming to America.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
And the pet pattern and the trademark.
People weren't happy.
And Coming to America didn't do, from what I've seen, didn't do well on the continent because the jokes are Western facing. Yeah. So if Trevor knew that was going to be the same case here, maybe he was just like, you know what, I'd rather take the controversy of not being in Africa than coming home and bombing.
Damn. I get it. I agree with you anyway. Staying in South Africa, and for the second week in a row, South African rap superstar Cassper Nyovest makes the headlines. Now this time for claims that he has never had a #1 song on radio in South Africa despite his array of hits. Now the rapper responded to a Twitter user who said Casper's latest song, Siyathandana, was the biggest song in the country, yet it's not #1 on any radio station, and wonders why. To which Cassper responded that he never had a #1 song on radio as his songs don't get the airplay they deserve, but the people and fans keep him and his career alive. His comments were full with a lot of fans in agreement and slamming radio stations, with a few not happy that Cassper has been releasing Amapiano songs lately. To which Cassper also responded that the song Siyathandana was actually written in totality by himself, although it features Abidors and Bole singing on the record. Now, Cassper, to be honest, this is not the first time he's spoken about the lack of radio support in South Africa, and the fact that he's had huge songs, that has gone on to do incredible stuff. This man has sold out stadiums. Probably the only current pop star from South Africa that has done stadiums, 50, 60,000 capacity stadiums in South Africa, 70.
He's huge.
Is huge.
He's huge.
Yet, radio play is not working. What are your thoughts about his complaints with regards to radio? He's done it consistently. And what do you have to say when it comes to radio play?
So, the first question is, when the radio stations do the charts, what do they base it on?
What are the criteria? Yeah.
Right. Now, it might be because some of his songs have been explicit in the past. It might be because his fans are actually on pirate sites.
Yeah.
And maybe the numbers aren't translating. Maybe that's one half. Yeah. But also, like, we look at places like Nigeria, and again, just because of proximity, I know what happens there. There was a rule that came into place, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Which said that 70% of the music that plays on air has to be homegrown.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if SA have a similar law.
I'm sure they do, but obviously they listen to a lot of internet. If you look at the radio monitor in SA, like the top 20, I'm seeing people like Taylor Swift.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on here?
And I think as well, like the homegrown sound that we know and love from South Africa is more around the Afro house.
Yes.
Like we said, the Amapiano, the gong, however you say it.
Yeah.
And sorry, not however you say it. I know I can't say it.
Yeah.
But and Casper doesn't fit into that box. He doesn't.
But hip hop, when hip hop dominated in South Africa, he was at the forefront of that.
But Nasty C and AKA and all the other guys that we speak of when we have the SA hip hop conversation were also there.
Yes.
And
so it was split.
It was. And so is it unfair to constantly say you don't get radio support? Yes.
Okay.
If your music isn't commercial, you're not going to take the number. What's the criteria? That was my first question. But second of all, if you're getting the fan love and the fan support and you're still a millionaire, why are we complaining?
That's what I wanted to say.
You have a bar. You have this. Your ventures are large and wide.
He just signed a multi-million-dollar deal last week. A footwear company just signed a $4 million deal with him where they're partnering to create new footwear brands and other, they're going into other ventures together. Now, the radio complaint is not only Casper Nyovest that says that. We hear it in Nigeria, we hear it in Ghana, where everybody says they don't get even some of our big superstars.
So just on that point then, so if none of us are supporting, who are we playing?
That's it.
I don't get.
But the thing I also try to tell a lot of young stars nowadays, that particularly in different markets, radio has power. Like in Nigeria, radio is number one because everybody's stuck in the car. So they listen to radio consistently, and if you're on the radio, it helps to really, really push your music. But once you come into Europe and the United States of America, that's why there are people called the SoundCloud rappers, people that are blowing up on YouTube and doing Snapchat. My daughter introduces me to musicians that don't even have music videos.
On the TikTok.
Yeah, those TikTok rappers,
artists,
they are sick. So what would your advice as a PR specialist, somebody that deals with a lot of artists that are banging down your door to get more radio play in the UK? I need to be on radio. What kind of advice do you give artists with regards to radio play and what you tell them to do when it comes to promoting their music?
So the first starting point is, who is your target audience? Like, who is your listener? Do they listen to radio? If they don't, pivot. Position your music to where they are. If, again, we use Nigeria as an example, the internet population is around 30%. That's 30% of people that have access to constant data, constant Wi-Fi. So putting your music on the Spotifys and the SoundClouds, etc., may not work for you because your target audience isn't there.
Yeah, facts.
Which is why platforms like Audiomack can thrive, because without...
it's like a website.
So there's that. Who is your target audience? But second of all, if you're targeting Gen Z, they're on the TikToks, they're on the Trillers, they're on the Snapchats, they're on the forums that we're not even speaking of. They're on things like Twitch.
Yep.
Radio is not the be-all and end-all.
Facts.
I'll start there. But when it comes to any rollout, any type of promotion, I always work with the 4 Ps, right? So that's promo. So that's digital promo.
Yep.
Do the sponsored ads. Do the challenge. I know we're tired of challenges, but it works.
You don't do challenges, you're wasting your time.
Even Drake does challenges.
That's what I say.
Even Drake.
Look at what happened to Young Thug's and Young Thug's latest song, the
Speed Challenge.
Yeah. Or is it Young Draco? With Soulja Boy. those challenges, people don't get tired of them.
They don't. And even now, I grew up in the era where Soulja Boy released Crank That.
Yes.
I can still do the dance moves today.
Facts.
I can still do the SpongeBob.
Facts.
There was a song, Chicken Noodle Soup with the soda on the side.
Yep.
Stupid song.
Yep.
We still know the dance moves.
Facts.
You are able to get ingrained in the listener and become part of their childhood, their teenagehood, their adulthood when you connect in a meaningful way. It's more than just the music. Also, what message are you pushing?
You were talking about the 4 Ps?
4 Ps.
Yeah.
Promo.
Yep.
Playlisting. So, a lot of people find it hard to get on an editorial playlist. I agree. It's hard.
But you pay their playlists.
There are
individual curators.
Thank you. That's where I was going. So, you have people like DJ Boat, who currently, if I'm not wrong, has 180,000 followers on Spotify as an independent curator. You can pitch to him, his DMs are open, his email is open, and the number of following he has on that playlist alone is comparable to the ones that Spotify actually curates.
Yep.
You have Hammertan Rain, you have We Talk Sound, we have Tolu Daniels. There's a long list of people that are doing independent curation of playlists that have the traction, that have the numbers. If you make it to Tolu Daniels' list, you blow. Because there's loads of platforms that refer to his New Music Friday playlist.
And they take it off there.
I'm working with an artist who blew through doing TikTok videos, was able to get 100K views on day one for like impersonating Oxlade. Do you know that in 4 days we were able to get 100,000 listens on Audiomack? But people don't want to rate Audiomack.
Yeah, because it's like a
we
website.
got 55,000 streams on Apple Music. And I'm saying all of this to say that go where your listeners are. All right, so promo, playlisting, publications. All right, so you might not get Fader. You might not get Complex. But there are places like That Grape Juice, Link Up TV, Grime Daily. They have a submissions email. Just send it in. When people Google you, what will they find? Please, even when I go on your social media, let that link be there. Let that bio be speaking to me. Cool. And then the 4th P, what did I say? Press, promo, publications, playlisting. I didn't say press.
Yeah.
So, again, this is notoriously more hard because...
If you're not interested, nobody's going to take that.
It.
If you don't have anything about you, nobody wants to know.
But most platforms do have a section where they're putting on new talent, rising
spotlight.
stars. Engage with them. Glitch Africa, Clout Africa, Shopsy, me. We all have initiatives that are geared towards highlighting up-and-coming talent. And please, I beg you, in the name of the Lord, name your tracks when you email us.
Please.
Use correct grammar. Greet us. If you send me a link, just in the DM,
and make sure it's radio edit as well. Please.
And mix and master the track. If it's not radio worthy, it's not going to get radio play. That's it. I've dropped the mic.
Simple. Well, over to the UK, where some messages between a lady and a guy were shared on popular blog Shade Borough this week. The messages appear to show a guy who had paid for air tickets and hotel accommodation for a lady having a conversation with her about coming to her room since she had arrived. Well, the lady responded by saying she was tired and wanted to sleep, to which the guy said, okay, he will come see her in the morning. But the lady then responded in a way, kind of still trying to keep the young man away from her. So he became blunt by saying the only reason he paid for the air tickets and hotel accommodations was because he wanted to get with her. And if she isn't playing by his rules, then she should check out of the hotel the following morning and pay for her return tickets back to wherever she came from, as he had cancelled the hotel accommodation and the tickets. Who is right and who is wrong here? Because this conversation is a very deep conversation.
It's deep.
Where you've eaten, you've drank, you're in a hotel, everything's nice, but it looks like the conversation you're having with me, I don't know whether I am understanding.
I mean, okay, so more context, right? He said that they've been speaking for months.
Yeah.
He was like, we've sent each other nudes and we've had sexy time on FaceTime. Yeah. So you,
everything has been said.
You already, plus I've spent thousands of dollars. So she knew. She knew. Now, I'm still for consent, so you can withdraw at any time. Let me just put that. But girl, you messy, okay? If you are going on a free trip with free food, it's an arrangement.
It's almost like a contractual situation.
It's an arrangement.
It's an unspoken arrangement.
And I just feel like he tried. He too was like, don't worry about tonight. It's okay. I'll come tomorrow. I'll come tomorrow. But And then the bit that got me was like, oh, please, I don't even have money to get home.
Back.
Sis, always have vex money. Always. Because if you want to be petty or you want to get angry, you need to know how you're going to jap out of there. How the heck are you stuck? Sis, how are you stuck? I don't want to agree with the guy because he should have liked her for who she was.
Oh, they've gone past that.
But she's mad.
I remember one time. I remember once one of my friends. I think he was at home. Like this was Christmas, cold. It was snowing. Yeah. He was at home with some girl, and his girlfriend now took a cab to his house.
Jesus.
So he couldn't open the door.
Jesus.
She was banging the door. He had no guts in the world to come downstairs. So he now started ringing me that, bro, it's about to be off. Yeah. So she calls me and she's like, what's going on? He's home. He's not coming out. So I was trying to, because he was telling me that, listen, she's got to go. He can't open the door. So she's out there in the cold. She's crying outside the door. My man is shattered upstairs, but he knows he can't open it. He can't let the door in.
He can't.
When I called her and said, okay, why don't you go home and stuff? She said, I didn't even come here with my purse. I can't order a taxi. I said, you didn't come with your purse? Like you.
Is this before Uber? Because
it was. It was like years ago, and I'm thinking to myself, I know you women. I've been in situations where a woman will vex in the middle of the night. She'll take her bag. She start walking on the road. Why do you do that?
Because of pride. It's pride. You can't feel like you have me under your stronghold.
You take your bag at 2 a.m. Yeah. You start walking and this. Where are you going? Small thing. Can you go to sleep and tomorrow morning you can go to your place?
No. I'm here for a tantrum. You need to know you've crossed the line and you will feel it. You don't deserve my body heat that night at all. I'm going home. And I'm here for that. Yes, ladies.
When I saw this and when she was saying, I didn't have money to go.
Stupid.
Please don't cancel the hotel. But the guy had made up his mind that, this girl's playing games. I'm not with that. Let me save the remainder of this ticket and the hotel accommodation for somebody that's serious.
Bearing in mind, he would have still lost money for cancelling that flight.
Yeah.
He would have lost money for cancelling. Yeah, Petty, I'm here for it. What did I'm gonna do it. Yeah. When Tiwa said, but I'm petty. Shay said, I'm not petty. Tiwa said, but I am. Open it. Free it.
I know we didn't speak about it, but what are your thoughts about
I
what
love
happened?
Tiwa Savage. I love Shay.
Yeah.
I love Victoria Kamani. I've had all of them on my platform.
Yeah.
We have open dialogue. In fact, Shay stood me up in Lagos, but it's okay.
She stood you up?
She did, but it's okay. All love. What do I think? They're all queens. It was beneath them. It was beneath them. And then the comments of, but I have money, etc. If you've got the money, you haven't got to scream. Those that are rich don't have, their lifestyle just shows it. It was messier for the friends to leak the footage because it was clearly a friend. I could see some nail polish in the corner. And then it got even crazy when there was the leaked phone conversation on Post Niger from Shay. Again, I love all of them. It didn't need to get this far. But, and however, everyone said keep the same energy, right? If you can chat about me behind my back, you didn't need to say the hi. I personally think that it would have been awkward if you didn't because the salon looked kind of empty. Yeah. And Shay in the leaked convo said that she did it to kind of ease everyone else's tensions. But hey, look.
Because everybody's already like, whoa,
what's happening here?
What's going on here? Kind of stuff.
I don't know, man. First of all, I thought they were above going to the salon. I thought everybody was mobile hairstylists. But on a serious note, I think when men in the industry fight, we know David and Wiz, David and Bernard, David and everybody. It's just this man has an issue with this man. It's never, women can never get along. And that's the narrative that I hate. I think two people can dislike each other. Two people cannot get on without it now becoming a generalization that all women in the industry.
But what about the fear that image allows that narrative?
And I'm hopeful that with collabs like Shay and Yemi, with Thames collaborating with a lot of females, I'm hoping that we're starting to see a different narrative. I mean, Mr. P had Tamar Braxton, Simi,
and that's a smash record.
Somebody else was
on that record. Tenny, it was
on the same track. We're seeing it. We just need to make those conversations louder.
Look at it. We've seen a video today that's leaked of Wizkid and Burna Boy shooting another
Yes,
video.
another video.
That I was just speaking to my guys, shout out Smade, I was just speaking to him on my way here that's a second sharing of fans and listenership between both guys in the last 6-7 months. They just did it with Ginger.
Yeah.
Now they're about to do it on another record again, where their fans have to cross paths.
They have to.
Again. So the women have to get to that level as well.
And the thing is, the women are doing it. We just don't talk about it enough. We just say it's gossip that sells. Nobody wants to talk about unity.
Yeah.
So
I
made
because
you
they
do
didn't
it on
want
your
to.
platform.
Yeah,
I
they
do it
didn't
on
want to
my
talk about
platform. They
Sheyi's
don't.
songs that's out. They don't want to talk about Tiwa Savage getting ready to drop an EP. But we were very excited to post the
That
video.
thing was everywhere. Tunde Edna, Linda Ikeji, everywhere. Even Ubi posted it.
I
love it.
I had to call him. I wasn't happy about that because I felt like, as a big man, I refused to share that because I thought it was putting out. That was the moment where I said, nah, this
is the line.
Yeah, I'm not going to be posting for comments or Tiwa Savage and a Yemi Alade or Sheyi looking bad or crazy on social media. Who's going to benefit from that? Oh, yeah, my mentions will be crazy. My
You get impressions for that day.
What's that?
Even me, for Gossip of the Day with Gracie May, I just said, hey, Tiwa and Sheyi are trending. I left it as that.
Facts.
I left it as
Facts. Now, over to the States, where the media has reported over the last few weeks that newly separated star J-Lo from baseball icon fiancé Alex Rodriguez had gotten back with her former flame in Ben Affleck. The former and now new couple have been spotted together in Vegas and now in LA, with rumors that J-Lo is school hunting for her kids as she intends to move closer to Ben. The pair dated close to 20 years ago and went their separate ways after it was reported that Ben had cold feet in getting married. Since then, J-Lo got married, had a set of twins with former husband Mark Anthony, and Ben Affleck got married and divorced as well. And now videos showing both passionately kissing at J-Lo's sister's birthday in front of her kids proves the pair have rekindled their love. And this begs the question, is it ever okay to go back to an ex?
Well, hope my mom doesn't shoot me for this, but her current fiance was someone she was dating 35 years ago.
Wow.
So she's also done a similar thing, and we know his kids and he knows us. And actually, when I was in Nigeria, I was staying in his house. I was using his driver. And
it's family.
Yeah, family. I think sometimes it's the right love at the wrong time. And we've said earlier, timing is everything. So
the right love at the wrong time.
And you can always settle. That timing thing is key. If it's the right person, it's the right person. What's meant to be will happen for me. And I feel like with these two, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen Diddy posting throwbacks.
Yeah.
Holding J-Lo's hand.
He was, what was GD?
He was sniffing around, sir.
Yeah, so he
that
was trying
boat has sailed.
But he wanted that girl back.
He wanted
that old time back.
Man.
But she was like, she was not going to go there. She went for the white boy instead.
And Ben Affleck with J-Lo.
He's a good guy.
Good.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's best days were to his former wife was when he was with
J-Lo.
J-Lo.
Yeah.
He would come with the suits,
Six-pack.
slick.
We loved him, man.
He wasn't looking. There was a period in his marriage where he just gave us full beard and overweight.
Yeah.
And we were like, what happened?
He let himself go.
Bruh, there's letting go and there's that. And Ben, you were doing that. So I'm here for love, full stop, point blank, period. So go where love is. Go where you're appreciated. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. I'm here for it. Go back.
Finally, we'll talk about what has been trending over the last couple of days in, incredible writer and feminist, Chimamanda Adichie, who I just found on Twitter became a trending topic. And I slightly saw an article or something that she had written. I saved those articles to go back to read them, but you told me that you read everything. You read everything and you have an idea of what exactly happened. What happened to the great Chimamanda?
So Chimamanda has come out and said that there are two people that are basically leeching off of her name, leveraging her platform and their distant association to profit. So there was one person who allegedly added Chimamanda in the foreword of her book and apparently didn't reach out first of all for approval. And I said, it's kind of disingenuous because I let you into my home.
Wow.
I mentored you and then you went went out of your way when I made comments that were considered to be transphobic to then rant on Twitter, and I've never confronted you about that, but it's disingenuous for me to be part of this journey of yours if you didn't even have the common courtesy to speak to me one-to-one if you had an issue with what I'd said publicly. Her response, so the protege's response was, you made those comments publicly, I replied publicly, I wanted everyone to know where my party line was.
Wow.
Now, obviously that has come to a head because Chimamanda said she doesn't usually comment, but she felt slightly overwhelmed that two people that consistently do interviews and reference her, write books and reference her.
Benefit off of her relationship with them.
And she said once she saw those Twitter comments, she cut off that first person. And she said it's not fair that years later, 4 or 5 years later, that person is still able to get book deals, etc., off of the back of the supposed proximity that she has. So that was one. First, though, thoughts. What do you think?
Well, when I saw when I saw the highlights of that story, especially her comments with the trans woman, I felt to myself, one, if someone that was that close to her felt a way about what she had said, I probably felt that they could have had a proper conversation rather than taking it to social media.
Do you want to quickly recap what was said?
Yeah, well, Chimamanda said in the interview, I believe it was with Channel 4 or somebody, where she had said that she believed that trans women didn't have the right to say they had the full life experience of a woman, a biologically born woman, based on the fact that they had lived part of their life as a man with privilege before transitioning into a woman. And if you look at what she was saying, you might see points there. However, because of nowadays where a lot of people that are transitioned into being a woman from a biological male had believed from when they were young that they were a woman or believed that they were a girl and had lived part of their lives, even though physically they might look like a man, they had lived a large part of their lives as a woman. So their experiences would have been that of a woman the entirety of their lives. However, the prodigy, again, could have had that discussion with her rather than taking it to social media.
Agreed. Now, I feel like if for whatever reason you and I fell out, or no, not even that, if you said something publicly that I didn't agree with, I have your number. Even if you didn't pick my call, I would still, I feel like
you would have that conversation first. And then if my explanation was still not good enough, then you can take it to social media and light him up.
And I think her defense of, oh, well, I needed the public to know where I stood. You could have done that without reference to the person that supposedly mentored you, that taught you everything you knew, that you met when you went to a workshop and, you honed your writing skills under this person.
Wow.
It's an insult to your mentor if you can't even have that. And first of all, is she your mentor if you can't have an open conversation? What were you really doing? She said, and again, I can't say verbatim what was said, but Chimamanda said, I had her in my house. She was around my child. That's stuff that is a privilege. If I have that privilege of proximity, I have the privilege of having the conversation.
Facts.
With the second person now, sorry, and I won't rant too much. It was a similar conversation of you've used my name for leverage. So the first one was you added my name in the foreword of your book. The second person was referring to Chimamanda as a mentor. Even though apparently she had only attended a workshop. And Chimamanda had put her forward, I think, as the best writer of the day, something to that effect. But apparently was now saying, oh, Chimamanda's my mentor, and then apparently getting book deals
off of that.
Allegedly, even received a 7-book deal for a period of 4 years. And Chimamanda, in no uncertain terms, has said it was because of me. Now, is that proud? Is it truthful? Did Chimamanda actually have the title as mentor if she's attended a workshop?
Stop.
I don't know. But again, to me, similar thing I said about Tiwa and Shay, it's just unbecoming for this stuff to be out there. Do it in the back.
Especially one of the most intelligent, eloquent, powerful women of our time who has spoke to power, spoke against injustices, and found the best way. I still think she used, the best words and eloquent
to put it right.
Because I saw Twitter was I saw people going crazy like, yo, this lady, she broke it down.
Scattered everything.
Yes. But it's just the fact that she still had to take it to social media one way, whether via an article or via a tweet or whatever, to respond to something that was definitely personal.
I think the sentiment of, if that person should have come to you in the back, you should have paid them minds. I think, even with her breakdown, she said, so-and-so wrote me an email, I didn't reply. So-and-so wrote me...
So there were opportunities for communication. No,
and she screenshot and redacted the actual comms that was sent. You could have replied. You're bigger than it. And I mean, she used a lot of trigger words that included things like, white fragility, feminism, and a lot of people were saying that the arguments were shrouded by these terms.
Yeah.
In reality, just have the conversation. If you have a problem with someone that matters to you, have the conversation, or let them go.
Just let it go.
Let them go.
It's as simple as ABC. Well, we're going to let you go. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
As that wraps up this week's episode of Audiomack Live, the official Afrobeats podcast. As always, follow us across our social media. Share, like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate that. And as always, my sister, Gracie May, thank you very much for coming through.
_ Gracie May on all platforms. Find me.
Absolutely. Me. Make sure you follow her for a lot of information, not only with music marketing, PR, but also just tips on how you get along, get on in this music industry that a lot of people are finding so difficult to navigate.
Thanks so much for having me, boss. I always love coming.
No, thank you very much. And from us here at the Afromedia Studios, shout out to everybody, LM Media, Afromedia Willow Studios. Until next time, it's peace. And we're out.